This is a fertile land. We shall thrive here. We shall call it this land.
Why don't we call it your grave? Bumblebee! Pew, 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 pew.
It's super effective. Curse your sudden but inevitable betrayal. Ah.
Hello to all our NCers that we know and do not know. I am pre-hack Izawa Yoko, post-hack Mochizuki Tomo, and
I'm pre-hack Kichida Kazuhiko, and post-hack Mochizuki Tama. Tomo.
Tama.
Yeah. It's confusing, but I am the one playing the girl on the site, and she's playing the boy. The effeminate-looking boy. Yeah. Whose sexuality is in question.
He can go either way.
Okay.
That's what he's made for. So we saw... I am a YouTube subscriber to Kahako, so I saw her video on my YouTube and saw that she did this, so I thought it'd be kind of fun for us to do this. And we're basically here together in Japan, and so we figured we'd just do it together, especially since my camera's better than his. So
yeah.
it'd just be easier to do it that way.
We also saw the thread in the general discussion, general talk topic titled They're Back, which I thought was a clever reference to a movie titled We're Back, which had dinosaurs in it.
It was really good. Back to Ninpocho stuff. Origins of our characters. Do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Well, okay. Well, first off, our characters, our current characters, I guess we're not our original characters, like we said earlier. Before the hack, we had already come up with our two characters, and we're very satisfied with where they were and where they were going. But since the hack happened, we then felt like the stories involving those characters there was no momentum, so it just kind of fell down. So we decided to change characters using a concept we had created just for for fun one day. We're gonna use. We were like, if we die at the same time, we'll just make these characters. So it was we came up with it really close before the hack. So it was kind of weird that we came up with these characters and all of a sudden it's like a hack and we were gonna have the option of making new characters. So it was like, but yeah. So. But basically how it started was that we were reading a bunch of new characters or backstories and looking at them, and we just thought ninja backstories are really typical, really typical. There's you've got your my parents were killed by an unknown aggressor, so I'm going to become a ninja so I can avenge them. You've also got the I was born in a ninja village, and so I'm just gonna become a ninja because that's what everyone else in my family's ever done. Then you got your
amnesia people.
Oh yeah,
he did that one.
Yeah, my first character, Kazuhiko's backstory was basically stuff happened in his past, but he can't remember any of it. But he woke up in a ninja village, so he's becoming a ninja. So amnesia was a typical plot device, and so we were trying to think of ways to how do we make a atypical backstory for a ninja.
Yeah. And
that's basically started out as, well, we understand that every backstory is typical in some way, but we just figured how would you embellish it or change it so that it stops being as typical. So I guess we first then started our next characters we wanted to play related characters. So alright, so we decided on twins. Yes, that's typical, very typical, playing twins, especially identical twins. So we made them fraternal twins that look alike, which is also typical in some instances as well. And so we gave them opposite personalities.
That's really typical.
Which is really typical. especially giving the boy the more female personality and the girl the more masculine personality. That's still very typical. So
part of the reason I did that was I've never role played as guys. I don't really know how to very well, so I wanted a leeway into it because I want to broaden my horizons. So I'm like, well, why don't I just be a guy who's really effeminate? And then if I do something that wouldn't make sense for a guy to do, it's like, oh well, he's effeminate, it's fine. Like he can do effeminate stuff. So that's also part of the reason we did that. So it was pandering to me a little, but yeah.
Yeah. So but still, it was too typical, at least for Tomo. Way too typical. So we decided, okay, then what would there, like, you give him an additional occupation besides ninja. So we were thinking, I was just throwing out random things one day, so I said, why don't they're part of a circus? And then
I was like, well,
no.
Circuses no, because they abuse animals. I'm one of those things. I love animals, so I know about the whole sometimes circuses. Anyway, blah blah blah. So then I'm like, well, it'd make more sense to be like
cats.
It'd make more sense to be a performance group because, performance groups specifically, they'll do acrobatics and, a lot of the thing is acrobatics. And we also added, performances like singing and dancing, stuff like that.
Yeah, so they're the Mochizuki troupe idea spawned from that, though they're from a performance troupe. And so we had them made it so that instead of being raised in the ninja village, they were raised outside the ninja village for some time before, being put into the ninja academy because following along with a lot of what Cloud and how Cloud works with its ninja population is that if Cloud ninjas have kids, those kids automatically get enrolled in the thing because they're related to a ninja, and so may have ninja potential, and Cloud wants to have a monopoly and all that, which is understandable because having just random kids running around with potential superpowers is kind of ingredients for like a civil war or something. Not like that's ever happened in Cloud though. We don't have wars in Cloud.
Mm-hmm.
Or terrorist attacks on, say, the Raikage, because that just doesn't happen.
So, and then as for the look, that was a hard part because we needed to have two twins, or at least people who look really similar, who would, because if I googled fraternal twins, you get a guy and a girl, and they're almost completely obvious. Or I got an anime or manga which I think I used as his avatar.
There was one of the other members of Cloud who hoping will come back because he was fun to RP with.
He was an effeminate male buddy of mine.
Yes, and but basically he took his avatar and character inspiration from Bakuto Tests, which has a full Japanese name that I don't really know off my head, but the English title of it is Idiots, Tests, and Summoned Beasts. And there's a character in there who has a twin sister who looks identical to him, and so but that was his character. So that was one thing. So we were like, well, we can't use that.
And that was pretty much the only one that did that. Then you look.
There was another one.
Then you look up fraternal. You look up twins for males, and none of them looked.
You got the Hitachi twins.
Yeah, you got the Hitachi
Warren
twins.
High School Host Club.
Hitachi twins.
So we're just kind of okay.
Yeah,
but
it's okay. It's okay, but we needed something because the point is that Tomo is effeminate. So if they both and Hitachi twins look a little too obviously male. And then if you look up fraternal, I keep doing that. I'm sorry. If you look up twins on the female side, they all got boobs, and Tomo doesn't have boobs. So
neither does Tama.
But
that's just because she's Patanko.
Yeah, but so we were having a hard time with that, and then we saw a video of the Vocaloids Gumi and Rin together, and that we actually showed that video in one of our posts because we
we'll
had
include a link to it in the description.
maybe.
If you're lucky, if you're good, behave.
Yeah.
Keep watching.
Still listen. And so they had like little kind of Chinese-ish outfits, which was actually like, because we wanted to put something in that they would be in acrobatic-ish, clothing in a way, since they came from there. And so they had little panda hats, and I think they sang about ramen or something.
They sang about being in a Chinese fan club.
Yeah. So
it's called
Fankurabu or something like that. Anyway,
1-2 fan club.
Yeah,
the 1-2 fan club is what the English translation of the title is. It sounds a lot better in Japanese.
It does. But so then we saw that video and we were like, okay, this is Tama and Tomo to like really close, because they even seemed like they kind of had the personalities and stuff. So, and they were flat chested. So so we're able to do that, and then we found another version of them. The one that's going on right now is like in a version I found. They're in cat hoodies. So I figured we'd stick with that. And Tomo has glasses because he's trying to impress Kahako.
But we can all see how well that's going. I think Ayumu's kind of swept her off your feet.
That's fine. Tomo will find someone. Boy or girl, doesn't matter. Anyway, so that's kind of how the look of Tomo and Tama got. And we have an idea for later if we go through with it, which will change Tomo a bit, but we have to see if that'll go through. Something interesting about Ninpocho.
I don't know about you, but the one thing I like to do is to look at characters' backstories and see how those characters' backstories affect their RP decisions and those kinds of things. I've always thought that, because creating a backstory, and this goes for like that because we both attended the same college as Itsunami Ateru, who both introduced us both to the site. But basically, he also runs like RPs on his own there, and I guess one of the things is that I will always come up with these ginormous backstories, which would kind of try to kind of explain why my character is what he is and that. So and there would, because of the certain events that happened in his past, it would affect how I would play him and stuff like that. And so that's why when I started in Ninpocho, I came to try to make this really big backstory explaining everything, but then my first character had amnesia, so basically his backstory didn't matter, which is kind of, I guess, an oversight on my part when I was writing it. But that's why when writing for Tomo and Tama, the backstory for that, giving Tama this kind of impulsive, reckless, rash behavior, this kind of drive to be the center of attention at all times, not because she feels like she doesn't get enough attention. It's just basically is that she loves just being the center of attention, because she's grown up on a stage with people always being focused on her, so she wants to be focused on all the time and thinks that's how things should be all the time. She should have everybody's attention, and everyone should take her seriously, or if not seriously, at least be entertained. But in coming up with a backstory to kind of justify how that would be, it was really fun for that. But when I read new character bios, I look at them and I try to get more of a sense of what's going on. Why did how will this affect their character's personality? How will this justify the character's actions? And I get really interested in that. And so usually, sometimes that's why I'm always really concerned about how the typical ninja backstory, and how I think everyone should try to personalize it in some way, which people do to the most extent. I've rarely seen any backstories that I have just gone, another one.
I have once or twice.
Yeah, but I
won't say anything because
I have very rarely ever seen that. Like the quality of writing on Ninpocho is usually
pretty good.
very, very, very good. And even people who join it and they start out with having, they start a little timid and RPing. Eventually, like give them like a month or so, and all of a sudden, whoa, they're writing really well. I mean, especially compared to their first stuff. I mean, it's not to say I don't want to insult anybody. I'd rather not have my first video on Vblog be about how you guys all suck at writing, blah 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 blah, because that's not the case. Because you're all really good, better than me sometimes, most of the times, a lot of times, probably all the time. I'm rambling.
It's my turn.
You can go now.
I'll talk about what I like about Ninpocho. I like that because I've only RP'd in real life once. It's sad but true. It was something Ateru had put together, and it was the first time, and like you have to come up with answers really quickly. You can't really think too much, or you have to keep it going, and you can't just sit there and think, oh, well, what would my character do? So I really like how Ninpocho is, like, I can read a post, and then I can just pause and go, okay, well, how would Tomo react in such a situation? I don't have to instantly go, okay, Tomo pulled out his bow and shot someone. I don't know. It's nice to have time to think about what you want to say and think, how would your character respond? Because I was just like, the real RP I did was I basically made a me character. So generally, something she would do, I would do, she would do. So there wasn't any worry that I wasn't RPing the character right. And sometimes that can be an issue with people, is making a character that you think would be cool, like, oh, I'm gonna be this stoic character that that's just doesn't speak at all, but will just beat stuff up, and then because your personality just means you talk a lot and you come up with ways to solve problems, you end up being the character that talks all the time in the RP. So I really like how for Ninpocho it's a lot easier to be able to stay in character, because you can think through what your character would do, and you have time to respond, and you don't miss something someone said because you look at it, and you can go, well, Tomo didn't pay attention to that, he doesn't really realize, or he came in late, he doesn't know what's going on. So it's a lot easier to make sure you remember stuff that the character might remember, or forget something that the character probably wouldn't remember or realize. So I guess that's just the thing I really like about it. And so yeah, I guess if there's nothing else, the only thing I can think of is posing a question.
I guess. Yeah. Oh, well, first off, I'll quickly look at IRC, see if anyone wants to see anything else. And it doesn't look like it. No. Maybe I should type it in. There's
just oh my gosh face from Saito. We can add
it's
something.
A small world after all, to quote Kahako.
Says Kahako.
I hate that song.
I guess we will end on questions. Don't have to answer them, just if you want to add it to your next Vblog or anything.
We don't really know. Cutting that. It's used her real name. Don't really know Kahako's question.
I remember Kahako's question was asking about origins, how'd you come up with your character.
Okay, so
we already
answered
talked about it.
Ha!
Sorry if anyone else posed a question and we didn't. We try not to watch too many because we wanted to not be too influenced. We watched Keiji's because
so if you're hearing
people
music
seem to have
in the
a riot.
background, then it's probably Keiji's fault because I felt like that should.
Yeah, Keiji, that was a really good idea.
So we stole it. I mean, borrowed it. I mean, it was inspiring, very inspiring.
Anyway, so we'll pose a question. No one has to answer it if they don't want to. It's just something interesting. So I'll let the female of the group first.
Ouch.
Ask the question.
Ouch. Well, anyways, the question we wanted to pose was...
You wanted to pose. I have my own question.
My question is, what's more important in character creation to you guys? Is it creating a backstory, or just creating a character and having their RP experiences shape them as they grow? So I think that's my question.
And my question is, do you prefer to see a picture of a character and go, okay, I think that's the character I'm going to make. I'm going to create a character based off this image. Or do you prefer to create a character and then search Google, DeviantArt, anywhere to try and find someone who looks like your character to make it so people can kind of understand what it looks like? So I tend to do the earlier / sometimes latter, half and half. But
in inference for my question, I tend to focus on backstory first, then RP experiences. But
so yeah, thanks for listening, and we will probably do another one again at some point. So hello.
Well, you went first that time.
Fine.
After you. Hello there. God dang it. Which I thought was a clever reference to a movie titled Weirdback, which had dinosaurs in it.
I don't know if that's the case, but we did reference dinosaur firefly thing just like earlier. So, I mean,
it was supposed to be like, if people got it, they'd be like, "Oh, we got it."
It's an Easter egg.
It's an Easter egg.
Well, we can just come now.
Okay.
Anyway.